Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this video I want to talk about the new Hearthstone Mercenaries and specifically the role of RNG, randomness and skill in this new game mode. As many of you may know, I have been a little bit dissatisfied with some things in constructed Hearthstone, especially how the game mode has over time shifted further and further towards randomness and away from skill. What about Hearthstone Mercenaries? How important are relatively randomness and skill in this new game mode? There are two ways that randomness is involved in Hearthstone Mercenaries. First of all, there is some randomness in who gets to go first, who gets to act first. But this only applies when you and your opponent are both going to use an ability with the same speed. Because whenever your own characters use abilities with the same speed, the one that you set first is going to also proc first. But inevitably, there will be some cases where you and your opponent have the ability of the exact same speed, and then it's random which one of you is going to act first and gain an advantage. And the other aspect of randomness is in ability design. However, there are not that many random abilities when you think about it. There are 51 mercenaries, and only 16 mercenaries have an ability with randomness in it, so that's 30%. And each of those mercenaries only has one ability with randomness in it. Then each mercenary has 3 pieces of equipment available, and only one piece of equipment in the whole game right now adds to randomness. And in fact, there are 2 pieces of equipment in the game right now that take away the randomness in an ability that they alter. And even when there is randomness in the abilities, it is this sort of old-fashioned, classic-era Hearthstone-style randomness, like Anduin's Penance. Deal damage to an enemy that you choose, restore health to a random friendly human. But then again, you can of course control how many humans you have available, so you have some control over that. Or Antonidas' Fireball Storm. Cast Fireball at a random enemy, repeat for each fire ability you cast this turn. Again, you're affecting the number of fire abilities you're going to play, and then those fireballs are going to random targets. And an example of equipment modifying an ability so that it removes randomness, Millhouse's Leyline Wand. Greater Arcane Missiles targets the lowest health enemy, where usually Greater Arcane Missiles attacks random enemies. So even when there are random effects within Hearthstone Mercenaries, the distribution of those effects is quite easy to predict. The range isn't that large. And now contrast this to all the skill promoting designs in ability design, like speed matters. For example, Diablo's Firestomp. Deal 6 damage to all enemies, repeat for each enemy that hasn't acted yet. And then you try to manipulate your own speed or your opponent's speed to get a bigger Firestomp off. And you need to know about the opponent's abilities to predict how good a Firestomp is going to be. And positioning matters, adjacency matters. Like Gedon's Living Bomb. Choose an enemy, if it takes damage this turn, deal 12 damage to it and its neighbors. The effects that damage the adjacent minions. You need to think about how you position your minions. And ordering of abilities matters. There are lots of combos, like Scabsy's Tactical Strike. Attack an enemy, combo. So if you have used an ability earlier, if one of your mercs is a faster ability that is going to proc before Scabs, then Scabs combo, deal 10 damage to it as well. So the vast majority of ability design is actually promoting skill-intensive decisions instead of promoting randomness. And one important part of skill in Hearthstone Mercenaries is building your party. And when you think about this party composition, it's actually pretty stunning. It's mind-boggling, really. Because there are 51 mercenaries. Each of them can use one of their 3 pieces of equipment, so that means that there are 153 options overall, and you build a party of 6 mercenaries. And that gives you more than 9 trillion possible party compositions. So there's quite a lot of ground to cover there. And there's tribal synergies, there's spell school synergies, there are role synergies. There are just so many ways that you can build your party and you can make use of various synergies in your party. And taking this even further, because your party is going to consist of 6 mercenaries, of whom only 3 mercenaries are on the board at the same time. That means that you really need to think about, okay, what are the main synergies in this team? What are the alternative synergies? What if one of these mercs dies? Who's going to come replace that? And what if I meet different parties that are going to be against me? How do I try to counter what's trying to counter me by not using my main comp, but using some alternative composition out of these 6 mercenaries that I have put together? And then as we start to get deeper into PvP, we start to think, okay, what abilities are my opponent going to use? How can I use the abilities of my mercenaries to counter those abilities? We don't have enough max level mercenaries yet to fully try to test everything, and we don't have enough statistics yet, but my overall feel right now is that Hearthstone Mercenaries is the most skill-intensive mode of Hearthstone that Blizzard has released in many years. More skill intensive than Standard, more skill intensive than Wild, more skill intensive than Battlegrounds. This mode just might be the ultimate test of skill within the Hearthstone client. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.